Yeah.
Recording now.
Okay, we are live. We are very strongly here. After so many attempts, we are okay. So, hello, Justine.
Hi, Andrea. How are you? Yeah, good. It's going really well.
Okay, can we start, okay? Hello, people. Hello, beautiful family. Hello, beautiful community and beautiful speakers all around here. I am Andrea Claudia, and I want to welcome you to our first episode of Global Speakers Talk. I am the CEO of this startup, this international startup, and I want to say that from this day on every Saturday, me together with the founder Anshu Tiwari, we will host a podcast alternatively where we will interview you our dear members, you our amazing speakers, because we want to connect, we want to grow, we want to learn from you. You are from a long time here, or maybe you are so fresh and you are wondering, what in the world is GST? Well, GST is an international community, a startup, a beautiful family which you are involved in, who wants to help you uncover, discover, and grow your own voice, your own message, your inner world. Because we are strongly believer that each and every single one of us has a beautiful message inside, a beautiful jewelry to present to the world, to grow their inner voice, because we know that in today's world we are so shoved up with lots and lots of societal culture and every stuff that is just shrinking us. So we want to unshrink and want to ungrow our voice to be more powerful than ever now, because it is needed. So today, without further ado, I just want to begin with this first episode, and I want to invite with the absolute pleasure with one of the oldest members in here, in our community, in our group, with Justine Dyer. Hello, Justine.
Hey, Andrew. How are you?
Thank you, because you are here and you accepted this invitation. I'm so delightful and so proud to speak with you. As you might know or not know, Justine is a spiritual teacher, a transformational coach, and a part of this, he is an amazing human soul. So I will let you just know him, and I will ask him some questions in order to discover him, to discover his jewelries. So, Justine, first of all, how are you? How is your Saturday? Because I know for you it's 4 p.m., 4 something p.m.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on here, Andrew. And firstly, I'm honoured to be the first one. I'm really happy to be involved, because I think it's a fantastic platform and gives everyone a great opportunity. So, yeah, thanks for the introduction. And my Saturday is going really well. I've spent the morning with the family, and the kids had dance class, and yeah, it's been a lot of family time today, so it's been great.
Super. So what do you say we shall begin?
Yeah, far away.
So my first question for you, Justine, is who are you and how do you help to enlighten the world around you and the whole world for that matter?
Yeah, that's a great question. And you know me, Andrew, you know I'm a spiritual person, so I could go deep on that one, but right at this point in time, I'll stay on the surface and go with the surface. Who am I? And that's my story of how I got to this place that I'm at now. So I was born and came from a split home. So my parents divorced when I was 6, and I didn't really feel terribly certain as a child. I felt very scared, I guess, growing up, or fearful of the world. I always had a very reserved nature. At the time as a child, you don't really think much of it. You just, that's who you are and you carry on. So I went through life and I lived with my mother, and went through doing what I had to do as a child to survive, and went to school and did all those things that we all do. And I got to a point in my life when I was about 40 where things fell apart. I'd had a career for 17 years that I wasn't happy with. I felt stuck in that career. I didn't really understand why. I think a lot of us think that as we're going through life that everyone's just experiencing roughly the same thing. We don't really question a lot. And I was stuck in this career. So I think you've dropped out, Andrea.
From okay, sweet. So, Justine, just let's dive in and begin once again.
Yeah.
So, who are you and how do you help to enlighten the world around you and the world in large?
Yeah, great question. And yeah, again, Andrea, you know that I could tell you who I am at the deepest core, but I'll go with the story of who I am to start with, just so people can connect with that. So I was a sensitive child, and I was born in a family that was fairly dysfunctional, and my parents divorced when I was 6. And at the time, I didn't know, but you don't know a lot of this stuff until you're a lot older. But being a sensitive child, I had a cautious view of the world, and I was scared and was very uncertain about the way my life would unfold. So I became a pleaser very early in life, and I did everything to please my mother, particularly because I lived with her. And as a result of not really being having a strong sense of myself, I was very easily led by cues of other people. So when I went through schooling, and then at the end of schooling, university was suggested to me. And because I, again, didn't really have any direction, I went to university and got a degree. And looking at it now, it was to please my mum. It was not really something I really felt like doing, but I did it anyway. And got a good job out of it. And I stayed at uni, stayed in that career for 17 years. And I never really felt lit up by that. But the fact that I'd done the degree, I felt like I had to justify now doing the career. So I stayed in that for 17 years, and during which time I got progressively unhappier, knowing that I was destined for more, or just never really sat well. I just didn't feel comfortable. So during that time, I met my wife now. We've been together 16 years now, but back then, you know, we had a great time traveling and things, and we got married and had 2 beautiful kids and had a house. We actually own our house. We paid it off, so we don't even have a mortgage, which is, you know, quite an achievement for someone who's under 40 to pay their house off. Had 2 beautiful kids and had a boat and cars and everything. And looking from the outside, you would think, wow, what a wonderful life. You know, you must be really happy with the way things are going. But the truth was that I was not happy inside. I felt dead inside, and I was getting increasingly angrier and more frustrated, and I just didn't feel happy in life. And unfortunately, that reflected in my parenting. I started to become angry with my children and frustrated, even though I didn't want to be. And life just got harder and harder for me, and it started to get more and more difficult, until one day I was away for work and my wife rang and said, it still makes me teary today actually, but it was the phone call that I was dreading all of the time. And that was the phone call to say our relationship's not going well, and if we don't do anything, my wife actually said, I'm not ready to leave, but the worst thing we can do is nothing. At that point in time, I felt completely lost. I thought, I was doing everything I could do to be a good person, to be a good husband and employer and all of these things, again, pleasing everyone else, trying to be the best I could be, knowing deep down inside myself that I'm a good person and a loving person, but things just weren't working, things just weren't happening. So as a result of that conversation with my wife, I knew that it was time to do some soul searching. I needed some help. I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. So I started looking around, and I went to some psychologists and things, and I realized I need help. So I sought help from them, and I kept talking to them about my childhood. I had this feeling there was something in my childhood that was, because of my divorced parents and things, I never felt comfortable. So I knew there must be something from my childhood which had derailed me earlier or something. So I saw psychologists, and that was okay. They gave me some tools and some skills to get me a little bit of help, but I still felt in the core of me that that's not deep enough. It was still, I felt like that was trying to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, and I couldn't. That felt like too much of a leap for me. It just, that felt fake as well, just changing negative thoughts for positive thoughts. I just couldn't do that. It's, yeah, for me, I just describe it as it felt fake. So during the time, my wife had actually, after we had that initial conversation, she got to the point where she realized it's not me and it's not our relationship, that she had lost herself, and that's what she needed. And in that process of her discovering that she needed to find herself, I had stumbled across some videos online. I was watching YouTube videos. It's funny now, I actually look back and I actually typed into Google, what is wrong with me? What is the point of my life? And questions like that into Google, just asking, I have no idea what I'm doing. And as the universe yields what you're asking for, it popped up some YouTube links to, one was by a spiritual teacher, Michael Singer, and the other one was Eckhart Tolle, which I'm sure a lot of people have heard of. So I downloaded both of these, well, just watched these videos, and in one of Michael Singer's videos, he wrote a book called The Untethered Soul, and it was an interview with him, and he was describing what the book was about. And he said in the book, and this was the thing that really broke me open, and it said, you're not your body, you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're the one who witnesses those things. I'd never heard that. I'd never heard anything like that before. I'd never been into spirituality. I'd never been into any of that. You know, I would have thought that was all woo-woo, crazy stuff, spirituality stuff. But when I heard that, it went straight to my heart, and it resonated. And it wasn't straight away, but a couple of days later, I was out working outside, and I remember, for some reason, remembering that quote, and in an instant, I can just explain it like my ego just broke open, my mind just broke open, and I, for the first time, just felt this massive, it was just like a bliss feeling. All I could describe it as, and I've watched one of your videos, Andrea, and I know exactly, you know what I'm talking about, where you just feel connected straight to source energy, and your body is just being flooded with that energy. And I knew, I'm not this human person that I thought I was. I didn't quite understand it at that point, but I just knew that, you know, all this weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I felt free for the first time in my life. So I guess that was the start of my spiritual journey from that point. So now you can answer the deeper question of who am I, and that is a soul in a physical body here to experience life. You know, until you really resonate with that and understand that, I guess you need to, it's an experience you need to have. You need to experience what that is to understand it.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, but that, not long after that, I went away for work again, and I had another spiritual moment, which is called a Kundalini awakening, where I was away and I had, for 2 days, I had energy just surging through my body. If you can imagine, your body has these emotional blocks in it, and it was almost like this energy was just flooding through my body, pushing these emotional blocks out. And it was scary at the time. I had no idea what was going on. This was still before I had any words to describe it. I hadn't researched anything. I had no idea. All I knew was my body felt absolutely crazy, and the heat that my body was producing was phenomenal. And I remember at night time sleeping, I had to get all the towels from the bathroom and put them on the bed because the bed was just soaking wet. And it was, yeah, it was quite a phenomenal experience actually. But you can look up Kundalini awakenings or read about Kundalini awakenings. They're actually quite scary when you don't know what's going on. I think if you're guided into it with someone who knows what they're doing, you'd probably be okay because they can explain it. But for me, I was just on my own having this experience that, yeah, it was quite overwhelming at the time. But since then, I guess I've been, so for the last, that was 3 years ago, and since then I've just been, every single day I've read something or watched something. I've just been devouring books on spirituality, consciousness, body sciences, the nervous system, how the brain operates, conscious and subconscious mind, hypnotic language. Yeah, it's like your consciousness is just expanding at a rapid rate, and I can't keep up. All I want to do is just keep reading and researching. So it's been quite a journey, I suppose, to get to where I am now. And what do I want to do to enlighten those around me is basically help other people to discover who they really are. Because when I was trapped in my ego, my mind, I was so limited, so blocked, so convinced of the stories I was telling myself that I was, you know, such a limited person. I had a very negative view of myself. I had no self-confidence. I had no real power to do anything. I externalized everything. So my whole value was based on how others perceive me, what I can do for others, or what I can achieve for others. It was, and not in a way that I do now. I mean, now my life's all about service, but it's about what I can do for others for them. Whereas when I was doing it, it's what can I do for others in order for it to reflect well on me. So my wife and I have started a company now, Present Way Coaching, and yeah, we have some programs that we run people through to help them when they're stuck. Where I was basically stuck in a career, stuck in your relationship, just stuck in life. There's just this feeling of stuck where I just, you know, you can't seem to move through any area of your life without problems and issues and thinking very negatively about yourself and about the world. So, yeah, that's quite a journey.
That is an amazing journey. I had so many thoughts just when I hear you now, but it's just so wonderful what you experienced from your childhood till now when you do the service you do. So yeah. It's an experience, painful but beautiful, because it got you right here in this moment when you are open to serve the world and to enlighten the world. So deep gratitude, because I know you, because I meet you, and I'm so honored.
Yeah, so, thanks.
Okay, so let's go to the second question. What is your why? What do you do? What do you do? And I think you just answered, but elaborate a little more.
Yeah, my why is, I think I didn't like my life. Oh, I did like my life. That's not entirely true. I didn't like who I was for 40 years. I'm 43 now. And for 40 years of my life, I didn't really like who I was. I looked in the mirror and I felt ashamed of who I was. I knew I was a good person, but I felt ashamed I almost felt ashamed of how poorly I'd treated myself, how I just knew, my soul knew, the true me knew that my ego had been very negative to myself, and as a result, not treating other people well, like my kids, you know, being angry with my kids and whatever. And I realise now that that first 40 years of my life was to get me to where I am now. It was a training ground. It was to get me to experience the suffering and to understand the human suffering that everybody goes through. No one, you don't get out of this life without suffering. That's just part of the deal of being human. That's what you signed up for as a soul. And I firmly believe that as a soul, you're excited to come down here as a human and experience all of this. The only problem is when you get down here, you're born below the level of consciousness, and therefore you forget who you are. So going through my process and understanding who I am as a human being beyond the body, the mind, the vehicle that we are, it got me to a place where I could remember who I really am, understand all the pain and suffering. And as an empath, I have the ability to feel other people. When I walk into a room, I can just feel other people's energy. You don't have to say anything. I know whether you're happy or sad or distressed or depressed or what.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Absolutely. So my why now is because I know who I am and I know who everybody else is. I don't know your story, but I know who you are at the core of who you are, and I know the greatness of who you are. And to be stuck in the story and stuck in the suffering is not necessary. And my why is remembering, I remembered who I am. I remember why I'm here. I remember the soul path that I chose, and that is, I'm not here for myself. I'm here for others. I'm here to help free others, because I believe in past lifetimes I've been through the pain and struggles that, you know, a lot of people have had, and I've had not in this lifetime, but, you know, enough that my soul knows that life's not all about you as an individual. It's about all of us as a collective. So my why is to free people, is to honor my soul path. I know why I'm here as a soul, and that is to serve other people and to free other people. So my why for coaching and helping other people is to serve my soul purpose, which is part of the gift of my life, part of the gift of my human experience this time around. So
that is a wonderful why. I noted your why here because I find it so powerful, so powerful, and so wrapping all the world. That for me is amazing. And I'm so glad that you said your age 43 now, because it's a saying, I think you know this, that life really starts after 40, because before you're 40 you are doing just the research. So you are just beginning your life, your true life, with your true soul, with your true why. So that is fantastic. And that brings us to our third question. What do you think is your most fun and most valuable talent that you can share with the world?
My most fun and valuable. I was thinking about this before and I was kind of stumped. I find it hard to, I guess, to pick that value out for myself. So I had a chat with my wife about this, and she said, one of the places that I feel most happy is camping. We do a lot of camping and a lot of time in nature. And my wife always says when she sees me around the fire, I do camp cooking. So we've got a camp oven, which is basically like a cast iron pot that you put in the fire and cook in the fire. And I love just tinkering around with that and cooking. And my wife always says that looks spiritual for me, that I always look like I'm in my happy place. But on top of that, whenever we go camping, I seem to be able to pull people together. I love people. I love, you know, socializing, and I love pulling people together, and especially, you know, anybody. If there's someone who doesn't have a home or a family or is sitting out on their own, I'll pull them in because I can feel them. Again, I'm an empath. I can feel, you know, their loneliness, whether that's the story I put on it or not, is just pull them in. So I know the last time we went camping, we were down at the beach, and I started a fire and I had some ingredients there, and I ended up cooking up some scones. It was morning tea time, and we cooked up some scones in the camp oven. And I invited all of these people around, and before long there was about 20 people around the campfire, all having scones with jam and cream out in the middle of the bush.
Wow.
And I guess the gift in that is that I don't find it terribly difficult to do that. It just comes quite naturally to me. But to see other
Just
people,
who you are.
yeah, and to see other people's reactions, they can see something that they wouldn't have seen otherwise, that they wouldn't have even seen it's possible to cook a scone in a camp oven. They just wouldn't even think about it. So I guess from a teaching point of view, or a higher purpose, it's a way of showing people there's other opportunities, there's other possibilities. That's not just what you think. When you open up or expand yourself to other possibilities, there's always other possibilities. You just need a new perspective, or be open to seeing life in a different way. So
Sure, absolutely. I so love this, and the fact that you spoke with your wife, who knows you better than anyone, and the fact that you brought up the nature. So that for me was wow. Yes, we know nature heals empath. Nature heals everyone. In fact, nature is our deepest nature. So we are more alive, and we feel more deeply, more profoundly in the nature. So it is most obvious that your wife saw you in the nature like spiritual God that you are, because in nature, yes, you are more spiritual than ever. So
yeah,
thank you for this amazing story, and you are so a beautiful soul. I am so grateful because I get to interview you today. And I just have one bonus question for you that I didn't mention before, because I want to make it a surprise. So, what message do you like to deliver the members here in the group who do not show up, or who are afraid of coming live to be seen, to be heard, to connect with us?
yeah.
What is your message?
I guess my message is to anybody that the only way, like understanding how the body works. None of us get a manual when you're born. You have no idea. And from a spiritual point of view, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the vehicle. You're the soul in the vehicle, but you don't have a manual for the vehicle. You just jumped in there and started driving when you were born. You have no idea how to operate it. And that was me for 40 years. So when you come live, your body is conditioned to be the way it is. So if you feel scared to talk live, and I was too, I never felt comfortable talking live, or I felt open to judgment, open to criticism, open to not being good enough, like we all do, you know. The only way to push through that from a nervous system point of view is to do it, and you have to do it consciously. So by that I mean, you have to understand that if you're fearful of doing it, the minute you come to do it, your mind, your subconscious mind, is going to start telling you stories about why you shouldn't do it. And you're going to feel that in the body as uncomfortable feelings, and that's your nervous system reacting to that condition. The only way to ever push through that is to do it, is to consciously say, I'm going to do this, and feel uncomfortable at the same time. And by doing that, you're starting to rewrite the program in your mind and starting to recondition the nervous system. There's no shortcut around it. And the other thing that I'll say is that everything you want in your life is in the unknown. It's in that fear. It's in that uncomfortable, because if it's not uncomfortable, you've already done it. You've already got it. So any dream you want, any whatever you want to bring into your life that is outside of your life right now, you're going to have to push into the unknown to get it, and that is going to require facing some fear. So
Absolutely stunning. I just write everything is it's outside. It's in the unknown. So thank you very much, because you brought the science from the nervous system to the soul to the life, because you just have to do it consciously. Make you feel uncomfortable in your first life. We all been there. We all had the fear of rejection. We all had the fear of making a fool out of ourselves.
absolutely.
I know I did.
Yeah, absolutely. I did, for sure. I did my first live about 3 times and deleted it as soon as it went live.
Yeah. In my first life, oh my God. I think I speak very slowly, just to imagine my own words in my mind, and very was 2 phrases, very short, with so much because I was so afraid. And you can show now, if you watch the previous life, the first life, you too, mine too, and people's too, it was full of fear, but also we did it. So thank you very much, because you made the courage to come there back then, and you evolved so beautifully that now you are running your own show. You are running your own business in present coaching. And for the last thing that I want to do to ask you is to tell people where should they find you, because now you are in a service mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, at the moment, we've got a Facebook company page, is Present Way Coaching on Facebook, and we've also got a private group which is called the Courage Corner, and that's where Maria, my wife, and I guess we offer a lot of free value there, and that's our private group where we coach people and help people in that group, and that's where you can get in touch with us if you want to go deeper and do any of our programs. So I can send you the link for those if you like, Andrea.
I do like the title of your group, Courage Corner. That is so spot on, and a call to action. Really well done, and I'm so excited. So Justine, thank you so much, because you were you were willing to come here with me on this interview, and amongst the difficulties, you stayed here, and you want to share with me, with us, your story, and to help. This is the missions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you very much.
I appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Andrea.
And I expect you more and more in the group now that you have returned.
Yeah, I had to go offline a little while to deal with some of my own shame, guilt, and things. I mean, this journey, it doesn't stop, the spiritual journey. So even though I'm coaching now, I still have my coaches and I have my help. So there's no silver bullet. We'd all like to take a pill and just be perfect, but that's just not the way it works in this lifetime. So we need a community and we need help, and I think healing happens in a community. It's not a thing you can do on your own. So
healing happens within a community, and it happens every single day. You are never going to stop to heal, because you are never going to stop to live until one day. But until that day comes, world will gonna throw at you so many stuff, because life is life, and you should every day heal from all the negativity.
I think
So,
I'll say a lot of times too that growing on the growth path or on the personal growth path, it's like paying off a debt almost. Like for 40 years, you've built up this debt of negativity in your mind. Half of the conditions in your mind are negative and limited and not supportive to yourself. And it's like paying off a debt. You can't, if you have debt, you can't just take all of your pay and pay off your debt. At the same time you're paying off your debt, you still have to pay for your mortgage, you still have to pay all your bills. And it takes a long time to pay that debt off. And it's the same way in your mind. At the same time you're trying to recondition your mind, those old conditions are going to keep playing. And it's that repetitive playing of those old conditions that gives you a chance to see them and then change them. So it is a process of change. It is a process of transformation. It's not something that just happens overnight and you're enlightened and away you go. It's, you know, certainly it hasn't been my experience like that.
sure, absolutely. Well, yes, healing is a lifetime process. So, thank you very much for this wonderful interview. You have let the people know where they can find you. And people, please, 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 do not shy away from seeking out Justine, because he is an amazing coach, an amazing teacher about all that it is in spirituality and nervous system and embodying those feelings of higher self. I know that these are concepts very hard to grasp. Nowadays, everybody is talking with the same words, that love, self-help, higher self, and all those woohoo stuff.
Yeah.
Let's say it this way. But until you cannot feel it in your body, everything is woohoo. No?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's all about feeling. You need to feel, and the reason your life has gone off track is because you've lost the ability to feel. And those,
Yeah,
your emotions are your guidance system, and if you don't know what your emotions are telling you, you're lost in the woods. So yeah.
yes, lost in the woods, lost in the nature.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you. Our time, I think, is past. Is past. So we will chat another time. I really love this interview, and I'm waiting to see you more and more in our community, and to bring us the help of healing that we need.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks, Andrea. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
See ya.
Have a nice day.
See ya.